Are back at 4 a.m. Central Time in the US with your day three Duel in the Pool live watch party. For those of you who didn't tune in yesterday, who didn't see the full meet, the full recap yesterday, uh, it was a it was a day full of exciting races, a lot of races which we have not seen before in history, including broken swims, skins races where they had to walk out and get back to the other side of the pool and or swim to the other side of the pool. Multi, let's see, able body skins, para skins, mixed class skins. There was all sorts of mixed and or mystery relays. There was mystery IMs, and we're looking forward to a lot more of that today. The so the score yesterday, as it ended on the live stream, we had a lot of scoring issues. There seemed to be problems with the math on that one, but as of yesterday, when the meet ended, it was 148, 159, advantage US. Today, they just showed the score again when they were recapping it, and it was 147, 160. We have swims. Yan Yan here. Yan Yan, how's it going?
Hello.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Do you have headphones you can put in?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, try talking again.
Can you hear me now?
It's kind of muffled.
Okay. Let me fix that.
So, again, while we're reviewing, there are three different power ups that teams can use. One is a power play that can be used in any relay event to gain double points. Each team has one power play per day. It must be used prior to the start of the race. If a relay event with a power play is won, the team will earn double points. If a relay event with a power play is lost, meaning the opposing team won, then you receive half points. So that'll be 3 instead of 6. Whereas if you win, you get 16 instead of 8. The double dip can be played in any skins event to try and gain double points. If the double dip is called, an extra 50-meter is contested. So you get a fourth round of skins. Double points awarded to the winner, regardless of what team they're on. Only one double dip can be played per day.
Can you hear me better now?
No, it's still pretty muffled.
Okay.
So once again, for the double dip, yesterday both teams used theirs pretty well and pretty strategically. Australia used theirs in the women's 50 fly skins and was successful in. Emma McKeon was able to reserve her energy on that third 50 while Beta Nelson went pretty much all out. We kind of thought, Beta might have this, she might win. And then when she won the 50, it was revealed Australia had used a double dip. And then Emma McKeon won that final 50 with double points. Same strategy. The U.S. used a similar strategy on the women's 50 breast skins. While Chelsea Hodges went all out on the third 50, Caitlin Dobler reserved some energy. We saw Chelsea react to that about 15 meters left to go. In that she slowed down once she realized Caitlin was kind of dogging it, and then it was again revealed that U.S. had used a power play, but Chelsea had not conserved enough energy to best Caitlin Dobler, with Dobler winning that fourth and final 50 and earning double points for the U.S. So again, we have an updated score. It's 147-160 in favor of the U.S. So that was a 1 point differential for each team from where we ended yesterday. And again, the math during the first half of the session, especially, was pretty wonky and seemed very inconsistent with the scoring we were given. Once they got about halfway through the session, it seemed to be a lot more consistent. But for the most part, it was the only change to the scoring system from what we received and what they posted out there to what is actually happening in the meet is the skins, which they said they were only going to score 4, 3, 2, 1 for first through fourth, whereas now they're actually scoring 1, 2, or 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for first through sixth. And again, you can use that double dip on 1 skins per day per team, and that will give you 12 points to the winner instead of 6. So we're starting with a 6x50 mixed freestyle relay where I believe there should be 1 male and 2 females per team, and each swimmer swims 2 50s. So this should be quite a spectacle. So it looks like for the U.S., Ryan Held and Linnea Mack, and then Mallory Comerford is the third for the U.S. And then we've got Grayson Bell, Shayna Jack, and Meg Harris for Australia. It's kind of an interesting choice for Australia. They obviously, those two both great 50 specialists for the women, but I would have thought maybe McKeon or Molly O'Callahan, but obviously, again, 250 specialists, so they're probably they were probably a better fit, and McKeon and O'Callahan can be used later in the meet. We've got our first comment of the day. Coleman, any news on Dressel's status? I would love to see a podcast with him. Once again, we have no news on Caleb Dressel's status, and we would love a podcast with him as well. All right, the meet has started.
Okay. Is this one working now?
Try talking one more time. Yeah, Nan, can you try talking again? All right, so Australia has used a power play. So Ryan Held is in for his second 50 up against Grayson Bell. And he is able to pull ahead. So he's got about a body length, but I don't think it'll be enough to hold off Meg Harris and Shayna Jack. We'll see. So Comerford and Harris are in the pool now. Harris definitely gaining a little bit of ground on Comerford. Yeah, I'd say about half a body length. So US still in the lead, and the last leg diving in, Linnea Mack versus Shayna Jack. And Shayna Jack eats up that lead almost off the start. So yeah, this is going to be an Australia win all the way through. She just completely dominates. Uh, goes from half a body length to behind to an entire body length ahead. So Australia starts off with a big win. That'll be 16 points for Australia. And it'll be 16 points for Australia, 6 points for the US. We're already off to a bad mathematics start to the day. Because now it's showing 155 Australia, 166 the US, which is correct math on the US side, but they didn't take into account the power play aspect. So Australia was at 147 and now they're at 155, which would be correct if they had just won normally, but they should have an additional 8 points, putting them at 163. So we'll see if that is corrected. But right now they should be 3 points behind the US instead of 11. But that was an exciting race. Again, Australia picked it well. Interesting that Shayna Jack didn't end up swimming any events yesterday. She's being interviewed on deck now. But yeah, there was an individual. There were a couple opportunities for 50 frees last night. We saw Meg Harris in the pool, but we didn't see Shayna at all, which was an interesting tactical move by Australia. Maybe she had something going on, or not too sure. Grayson Bell was just interviewed on deck, and he was breathing too hard, and so the interview just said, "I'm going to stop interviewing you. I can't put you through to the crowd anymore talking like that," which is how commentators should be. That was great. All right, next up, we have the women's broken 800 freestyle, which I'm looking forward to. The women's 400 was great, and so hopefully the broken 8 is exciting as well. We saw the men's iteration, and now today we'll see the women's. Hey, Yan, can you hear me?
Should be back now, and everything should be loading.
Yes, I hear you much better now. All right. So Yan, what do you think of day one, or I guess day two, yesterday's results from Duel in the Pool in Sydney? Uh-oh. I'm back to not hearing you, or your audio sounding muffled. Can you say that again?
About yesterday's results?
Yeah, what did you think of the meet yesterday?
I was expecting the Aussies to be leading by a lot after yesterday. I was surprised that the US was winning. But yeah, I thought at first it was a little confusing follow, but after that I got the gist of it.
Yeah, it was certainly an exciting one for me. I really enjoyed the showmanship that they produced the meet with, and just how dynamic they made the meet, and how many events they either stole from different iterations of swim meets or just straight up made up. And it's been a fun meet to watch, and I think they've made it really spectator friendly. So I've enjoyed that. Any favorites in this broken women's 800 freestyle that is about to hop in the pool?
Pallister could be one. Yeah, because she's a really good distance swimmer. I think that Bella Sims is definitely gonna go out really fast, like she did. And I don't know why it says broken 400 freestyle because I'm pretty sure it's the 8.
Yeah, so they had it wrong on the screen. So this is definitely the women's broken 800. And so, and once again, that'll be a 300 on 5 minutes, a 200 on 3 minutes, another 200 on 3 minutes, and then finishing off with 100. They have updated the score to represent Australia's power play in that last relay. So they did have 155 to 166 in favor of the US. It is now 163 to 166 as it should be. So we've got a few people going out quite fast. It looks like Leah Neal in lane 2 is. Go ahead.
Bella Sims is taking it out faster. I feel like she's always in the front.
Bella definitely has the natural speed, I think. And so I'm curious to see if she can if she's just kind of pacing herself for this 300, which I'm guessing you can go out a little harder for a 200, which we saw her do yesterday. She was 158 in that broken 400. But the Australians are looking really strong right now with Pallister, Lee, and Neal just about in that 1, 2, 3 spot. Sims currently battling Lee for third. Whoa, Sims just had a great turn though. Came off the 150 wall really well.
She's doing really well. Neal out in front. I think she might get those like first few points for being at the lead 300 now.
Yeah, so at the 200, we see 203.2 from Leah Neal and 203.4 from Lenny Pallister. So Sims is pretty much back there. She's about a body length behind both.
I think she's catching up to Palliser. Oh, I think she's a little bit behind, but from what I'm seeing, she's getting Leah Neal is like moving herself up in front of us.
From what I'm seeing now, they're about both a body length behind or ahead of Bella rather, and Karina Lee is about even with Bella. She might have a little bit on her, but I think the Australians are going to go 1-2 in this first 300, and so we'll see if Bella is able to reel them in at all. So this will be a big one for Australia. It does look like they'll go 1, 2, 3 on this first finish, which is, aside from the winner getting one additional point.
Sims fell back behind Karina Lee.
Yeah, so Australia going 1, 2, 3, and aside from the 1 point that the winner earns from that doesn't matter aside from the overall add up times. So even though Australia does go 1, 2, 3 in that first leg, they only get one additional point for that. We've got a commenter saying they think Karina will do well in this. That's Karina Lee. We've got Dave Salo showing off his massive coaching beard on the live stream. That's pretty cool. They were actually interviewing Dave Salo from the pool deck. He's got a little headset on, and so he was giving some insight onto Bella Sims and how she's doing. All right, so we're down to about 30 seconds until the next leg of the race, which is a 200 free. So I'm hoping for the US's sake that Bella Sims was just being a little conservative on that first 300. Maybe they learned a few things from the broken 400 and seeing the men swim the broken 800 yesterday, and now they will be able to put that into play, and maybe she'll have a stronger back half.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a change in pacing strategy so she can like keep on.
Yeah, so we in the men's broken 800 yesterday, we saw Matt Horton kind of be a little more conservative on the first 300, but then he won the last three swims, and therefore and then he ended up winning the entire event. And so I'm curious if we'll see Bella do that today. She is being much more aggressive on this one. We actually see Justina Kozan first at the 50
really
this
fast.
200. Yeah, so she's obviously being much more aggressive on this leg. And then I think Bella is being much more aggressive as well, with the Australians still up there for sure. Lanny Pallister, I think, is in second, but Justina Kozan is really putting it out there.
Yeah, right behind Kozan, but Kozan has the lead at the halfway point.
Yeah, 58-2 for Kozan versus 59-0 for Lanny Pallister. So Lanny is looking really good in this event overall. And now we see Karina Lee and Bella Sims kind of pulling away from Leah Neal. Leah Neal looks pretty gassed from that 300. Her kick is almost non-existent at this point. So it's a battle for first between Kozan and Lanny Pallister, with Pallister pulling ahead on this last 50.
Pallister's she's overtaken Kozan.
Yeah, and then we've got Bella and Karina Lee battling for third place. Oh, but Justina Kozan making a push in the last 15 meters. I think it will be Lanny.
Kozan stuck it out this entire race.
Yeah, that was an impressive 200 for her. So it'll be interesting to see how they pace this next 200, coming off of what for four of them seemed like a really aggressive, really strong 200. So interesting.
I think seeing how these different swimmers pace.
Tell me more about that, Yan Yan. What strategies are you seeing? Yan Yan, what strategies are you seeing in here? Can you hear me? All right, so we're on the third 200. I'm not sure if Yan Yan can hear me, but we're on the third 200 now. Justina Kozan is fallen far behind on this first 50. Bella Sims really going for it. So interesting strategy here. Leah Neal seems to be much more aggressive on this one. But Bella Sims is out of the gate on this one. She's almost got a body length lead on the field.
Yeah, this is like what I'm used to typically seeing from Sims. I think maybe that was her strategy to like go out all out on the last one.
It seems like it. She
For me,
appears to have descended these efforts. What was that, Yan Yan?
100-meter mark. I said I'm only at the 100-meter mark, so I see that she's leading, but it's not by considerable body length. But I do see her pulling ahead right now.
Yeah, so she's swimming a really strong race here. Yeah, body length ahead of Lonnie and Karina Lee. 130.7 for Sims at the 150. And she's just pulling further and further ahead at this point.
Alistair's coming back. Like, she's about to overtake Sims. Sims barely got it. I thought Pallister would overtake her.
Wow. Yeah, that was really close. Pallister had a monster last 50, and Sims just barely got the touch.
She did this in the 200 as well. The individual 200 between Pallister and Sims. Pallister was about to come back on her, but Sims got it in the end. That should be a pretty big win for the US.
So we have 100 left in this women's broken 800. I'm guessing that Lonnie Pallister is going to take this handily. She's won. She's won. She won the 200. She was right there in the 300, and she was right there in the second 200. So no one else has been that consistently up for first or a close second place. So I'm guessing her add up might be the fastest, but we'll see after this last 100. I'm interested to see how much everyone has in the tank for this last F. Two lengths of the pool, whatever you've got left. This announcer's really entertaining.
Yeah, I really. The announcer's commentary this meet. Leah Neal and Bella Sims in the lead.
Mm-hmm. So Leah Neal flips first.
Who's going to have a good second 50? Oh, Sims. I think Sims is going to get this one.
So it looks like
Sims is going to take this.
Yeah, she's got a really strong last 25. Leah Neal's battling back a little bit, but Sims is going to get it. So 56.7. 57.0 is Leah Neal for second. So, yeah, I'm not sure who's going to have the overall add up for the fastest. I'm guessing it's going to be Lanny Pallister. She was kind of in it the whole time. Leah Neal had a really interesting strategy, but my guess would be that she had 1 200 that was just way too slow to have the overall add up victory. Yeah, Leah Neal had a really good
start, but I think it's going to help her out, but I'm not sure if she's going to be having the fastest figure of time. But yeah, I think it's going to be Pallister.
I wonder if they're going to show the add-ups or not. Well, now we have the men's 200 freestyle.
I'm trying to think of who would be in this event.
Sorry, your audio is getting a little muffled again. Can you try speaking up? All right, so we see Matt Horton coming out for Australia in this men's 200 freestyle. Grant House for the U.S. coming out. He's been as fast as 146 in the 200 freestyle. Zach and Surdy for Australia marching out. So we still don't have a score update.
Yeah,
Can you speak up?
They do the scoring they just do the scoring like that. I don't think it's done after every event because of the errors and stuff.
Can you elaborate on what you mean by that?
Because sometimes I see the score changing mid event, so I don't think they have an organized time frame of when they update the score.
Which is pretty unfortunate, given that it is a dual meet setting. But yeah, I would have thought they would have had it down after yesterday, but I guess not. So Australia only has two guys in this, Matt Horton and Zach and Surdy, while America has Trenton Julian, Grant House, and Luke Hobson. So we'll see who has the speed and who can close to get this men's traditional 200 freestyle. Trenton Julian is going out fast, as we've seen him do in a lot of races in the U.S., but it's actually Grant House who flips first at the 50. Yeah, this field is
Actually really tight because I think all of their personal best times are around that 146 range. I know they were all on their respective countries' 800 free relays, so this should be an interesting one to watch, and I think it's going to be close.
So at the 100, it looks fairly close. Grant House still has the lead. Trenton Julian and Luke Hobson are tied up really closely with Zach and Surdy of Australia. Matt Horton's a little bit behind, but we know that he has the potential to close really strong. So the U.S. now running 1, 2, 3.
Julian is still figuring out.
All right, and now we've got Luke Hobson just taking control of this. His final 50 should be enough to give him the win, but U.S. still running 1, 2, 3, which should be some big points for the United States. Ooh, Zach and Surdy trying to make a move on Grant House, though.
That's a huge personal best for Grant House. I think it's his first time under.
So that was Luke Hobson who went 145.5.
That's a really big swim.
So yeah, Hobson was 145.5 for the win. Trenton Julian was 146.6 for second, and then Grant House got in there for third at 147.0.
Oh, that was yeah. I meant Hobson. That was a big swim. I think he went 146.1 at nationals a few weeks ago, so that's a over half a second drop.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really great time regardless for Hobson. 145.5 is a huge swim, so he looks really strong.
Oh, we're talking about Popovich right now on my stream.
So yeah, as Yan Yan said, that was Luke's first time under 146. He just said on the live stream it's been his goal to be 145. And so we've got an updated score, 174 to 179, favoring the U.S. So they would have scored. U.S. would have scored.
I was gonna say, I'm guessing that's from the broken 800. And the most points from that, it's wait, no, that's overall. That's overall. But Sims is
Yeah.
the top scorer at 14 points.
Yan Yan, can you try taking your headphones out? Is that possible? And just using your computer's microphone? Oh, I can't hear you now.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, audio sounds much better.
Perfect. Yeah, that always happens when I put in headphones.
No worries. So yeah, I think we now have updated scores through the men's 200 freestyle. So 174 for Australia, 179 for the US. We still don't know the winners of the women's broken 800. Which, let's see if USA Swimming News Twitter has any insight on that one.
Yeah, I'm
they
gonna
do not. What's that?
I don't think they're doing any form of live result, so everything there's unofficial.
Yeah, but USA Swimming News was doing a decent job just because they're on the ground in Australia, I would think.
Yeah.
But the next event up right now is the mixed 4x100 mixed class freestyle relay, or I'm sorry, able-bodied and para free relay.
Yeah, I know they were, I think that was the relay that they were supposed to have yesterday, but they got moved. I know there was like an able-bodied and para relay, but I'm not sure if it was this one or another one. 24-3 for McKeon.
Okay, so it says it's supposed to be a mixed 100, but maybe it'll be 400 meters, but it's not. Everyone's swimming 50s at this point. So yeah, Emma McKeon swam a 24-350, which is blazing. So after two legs, US has the lead. Jamal Hill gave them the lead, and now it's Lizzie Smith versus Ellie Cole. So Lizzie seems to be holding Cole off. Lizzie for the US, Cole for Australia. So I'm wondering if everyone's doing 250s like the last relay, or if this is just a 200-meter relay, or
I think this is just a 200-meter relay. I'm trying to, who's in the pool right now? David Curtis and Jason Bell. Yeah.
All right, so it is just a 200-meter free relay, even though the screen says otherwise. The U.S. take the win. David Curtis anchored to get his hand on the wall first ahead of Grayson Bell in Australia. So again, that should be 8 points for the U.S. and 6 points for the for Australia, putting the US at 187 and Australia at 180. And that is reflected in the score. So yeah, again, US 187, Australia 180. As they're showing on screen, Australia only has 2 of their 3 power-ups remaining for the day, while the US has all 3 of ours.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it's this close because I feel like I don't know. I feel like the Australians, like it just like seemed to me that like especially yesterday they were winning a lot more of the events, but I think the US has done better on relays so far. Have they?
Well,
I think they won 3 out of the 5 relays that have been swum so far.
the US has.
Yeah, I don't remember who won because I know Australia won the mixed medley relay and the women's medley relay, and the US won this relay, the mystery, but I'm pretty sure US.
Yeah. And so the US has shown out on relays. On paper, we knew that Australia women were going to be really strong, and we knew that the US men were going to be really strong, or at least that's what we were predicting. And I think we've seen that play out. And so then, kind of that X factor has been the relays, which I think have gone US's way. And a few events into this last day, we see them in the lead by 7 points. It has been fun to see where those power ups are used, but I think those have kind of evened out in terms of whenever a team plays them, they get those double points. We haven't seen a team fumble a power up yet. So we've got our first skins of the day in the women's 50 freestyle skins. So Meg Harris is first up, coming out for the Aussies. Linnea Mack is the US's first woman. So we haven't seen Australia sweep a skins yet, go 1, 2, 3. I think this may be the first.
Yeah, I could definitely see this one being the first.
And I think the other big X factor for US's scoring is that the US men went 1, 2, 3 in 2 different skins events yesterday. So they got big points there, which, and as opposed to individual events where you can only score 2 people. And so the biggest spread you can have in an individual is 7 to 3. In the skins, if you go 1, 2, 3, that's 15 points versus 6, which I think really helped out the US as we did that twice yesterday.
Yeah, and I think a really big win for the US.
Oh, Yan, you're freezing up a little bit. All right. So we're about to start. We've got our first 50 in the water. It seems like the Aussie women are going to be pretty dominant in this. They've got Meg Harris, Shayna Jack, and Maddie Wilson. And coming down to this first 50, whoa, Meg Harris might get knocked out, which is a pretty big surprise. And she does. Meg Harris eliminated along with Linnea Mack. So did not see that one coming. The U.S. actually moved 2 women on to the second round. All right.
Paris was out of that. I think she was 50, the individual 50, yesterday.
Yeah, maybe she was just worn out from swimming on that relay earlier in the session. I'm not sure, but yeah, she definitely seemed out of it. I mean, she was 6th by a significant margin. And so we see some of the girls swimming back, some of the girls walking back now. They have these 50s are on 2 minutes, so they have about 30 seconds left. I'm wondering if we're still going to see an Aussie 1-2 in this, with Maddie Wilson and Shayna Jack both being Olympic medalists. Sorry, not Olympic medalists, World's medalists, Commonwealth's medalists.
I think
So
if the Aussies want to pull ahead, like this is like their like crucial race, and I think Wilson and Jack could be the two to advance to the next round, but we'll see.
Yeah, so they're on the blocks for the second 50. If the U.S. can get even one woman into this final, that will be pretty big. Kind of already looks like Comerford's out of it, but Albiero seems like she's in the mix. But now, as we come down to the final 15, it will be Wilson and Jack going 1-2 for Australia. At 25-3 for Jack, 25-6 for Wilson. And so it will be an Aussie 1-2 finish. But again, the U.S. will go 3-4-5. So that's 12 points for the Aussies, and then 9 points, I believe. 4-3-2. So 12-9 versus what could have been a 1-2-3, 15-6 spread.
Yeah.
So while the Aussies do
that.
So yeah, while they do get the 1-2, that will only put them, it only gives them 3 points up, which will put them within 4 of the U.S. But certainly not. I would have projected them to outscore the U.S. by a bit more. But we see Wilson and Shayna Jack walking back to the other end of the pool. I'm guessing they might do a victory lap and cruise this final 50 as the U.S. men did twice before yesterday. Ryan Held and Grant House in the men's 50 free, and then Justin Rest and Michael Andrew in the men's 50 backstroke.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts of yesterday was when Grant House and Ryan Held touched 100th of a second apart.
Yeah, even when they were going easy, they were still racing. So USA Swimming News has tweeted the results from the men's 200 freestyle, the results from that mixed class able-bodied freestyle relay. They still haven't tweeted results from the women's broken 800 freestyle. So we just have no idea what's going on there. We have a commenter asking, what happens if you double dip if Australia and US go 1-2 in the final? Well, then you get the double points for that. Then they would swim another 50 and the winner gets double points. And if that winner is by default Australia or the US, then that's who gets the double points. But I think that...
Yeah, I don't think we're going to do that.
Yeah, so I think the advantage of the double dip is being able to surprise someone with it on another team. And so they get tired out from a third 50 that they're going all out on. And then you use it, and then you have the advantage of knowing that there's going to be a fourth 50 where you can, potentially beat them. So we have a score update 192, 196. That is after the women's freestyle skins. And now we have got we've got results from the women's broken 800. Lani Pallister first, Bella Sims second, Karina Lee third, Leah Neal fourth.
Yeah, that's kind of what I expected. Like Pallister and Sims would be at the top, and they showed the 50 free skins times for them.
Yeah, these graphics haven't been totally on point, but I would say overall this production has been pretty impressive and really entertaining. A few flaws, but it is their first time ever doing it, so hopefully they bring it back in the future.
Yeah, I think the designs have been cool, just like technical difficulties. But then again, it's their first time running something like this in a while, and I think if that stuff can be improved and the concept of Duel in the Pool stays the same, I think it could be a really good event for swimming.
Agreed. I mean, if especially if some of those bigger US stars are seeing what this event like and how cool it is, and maybe if it comes back to the US next time, then a few more of those A-list stars might want to participate, even though this is a great experience for a lot of these younger US athletes. So Tim Chang saying, I would have double dipped right there because you're already guaranteed the double points no matter what. I think the advantage of double dipping when you're up against another team in a final is that other team might have had a better chance to win that final initially, but then you spring another 50 on them and then they're tired out. So then you swim the fourth 50 and you have a better chance of winning because you've saved your energy, which is what happened on the women's 50 breast skins yesterday. I think Chelsea Hodges was a pretty strong favorite to win all 3 rounds, but then Caitlin Dobler knew that the US was going to double dip, so she reserved energy on the third 50, let Chelsea take it out, and then by the fourth 50, Chelsea was pretty gassed, and Caitlin Dobler was able to really take advantage and end up not only winning but getting double points. So while Tim, you are right that you're guaranteed a double points if you use it in a situation where your team is 1-2, it could be more beneficial because you're not only taking those double points, but you're also stealing some points from another team who might have otherwise won the event.
Yeah, I can definitely see why a double dip would be more beneficial when you're like in a more close situation than the Australian women's 53. I wonder if they're going to use a double dip in this round.
So again, I would think not, because on paper the U.S. men look pretty strong in this. Chase Kalish doing 50 breast skins. I'm excited to see that. But yeah. I think between Michael Andrew and Kevin Hausman, the U.S. men should at least advance to this next round. Williamson for Australia is looking strong up in that middle lane as well.
I think Williamson could have a good swim here because he had a really good Commonwealth Games. I think he went under 27 for the first time there. So I could see him being...
Yeah, and so he wins that first round. Williamson wins that first round at 27.06. It looks like Michael Andrew was conserving a bit of energy there. And Kalish actually made it to the second round. So 2 Australians eliminated there. And Chase Kalish getting to swim 250s abreast here. So Williamson, the lone Aussie left in the pool, he looked strong on that first 50. I'm curious to see how he will fare in this next round because he looks like he was trying pretty hard. So the mustached Michael Andrew looking pretty relaxed right now. Chase Kalish is out there just like, what am I doing? I don't do 50s. Coach Herbie Bain giving him a little advice. And Coach Dave Sala talking to Kevin Houseman on the side as well. So I'm wondering what the strategy is. 195 to 196 is the current score update. The U.S. is in the lead by 1 point now. I guess that might be after skins, but that's
I'm guessing that's after the 50 free skins.
Okay, so U.S. still in the lead, but by a very narrow margin. Interesting to see what will happen here. Michael Andrew and Kevin Houseman really good off the start. Chase Kalish is obviously dogging this 50 breast. Wow, Williamson looking stellar. So he is obviously going to make it through. And then Michael, actually all 3 U.S. men seemed like they were kind of cruising that one. Houseman comes in at 30.4, Kalish in at 32.6. Williamson won it at 27.9. And so really interesting to see if either team is going to try to double dip here, because we do have 1 American and 1 U.S. left. The coach who's talking to Williamson right now is even covering his mouth with the heat sheet. So we might see some exciting things as he was trying to, hide a little bit of strategy there. So very interesting strategy by the U.S. of Chase Kalish and Kevin Houseman, both just kind of backing off there in the final.
I remember yesterday in the women's 50 breast, I didn't think they would do a double dip in the third round because Dobler had a really good start, but then she slowed down afterwards. So I think that prompted Hodges to also go all out on the third 50.
And I think that's the strategy, right? Is that you want them to think that you're going all out on this third 50 and that it's the final one, but then ultimately, you give that impression, but then you slow down. We have a scoring update again. U.S. 203, Australia 195. A stark difference from what we saw earlier, which was a 1 point difference. Now we have a 8-point difference. So again, a little confused by this math. So Michael Andrew versus Williamson. We don't know if either team's going to double dip here, but should be really interesting to see each strategies. So we've seen Michael come out fast. So Williamson is definitely dogging it. So Australia looks like they are double dipping. Michael Andrew realizes that is the strategy, so he's also slowed down. So now they are both just cruising this third 50. So Michael Andrew making sure that he wins this 50, because I don't know if that was a double dip. It wasn't announced that it was.
Yeah.
Or at least it's not on the screen yet, but
it looks like Michael Andrews beginning to warm down. So
okay, so Australia has hit it with the double dip.
Yeah. Yep. It's a double dip.
Oh, that's an interesting point. So the announcer just mentioned you can double. So the US could double dip as well if they wanted to,
So does
but
that
I
mean
don't
they
think
do
they
2
will.
extra rounds or?
That's an interesting point. I don't think the US is going to, though.
Yeah. I think they have the double dip, like the opposing team like has figured out the double dip thing better than yesterday, because I think Michael Andrew realized like mid race, whereas yesterday in the women's races, I don't think that happened.
Agreed. Yeah, I think everyone was kind of figuring it out, but I think the coaches also knew to expect one, especially in an event like this. So Williamson and Andrew are fairly evenly matched. Williamson has definitely won the first 2 rounds, but I think Andrew has been a little more conservative, so it should be a really good race. And once again, it is for double points. So the winner of this earns 12 points. Andrew, once again, wins off the start. Oh man, but Williamson looks so smooth. Oh, he's really trying to get his tempo up though, and I think that plays out to Michael Andrews' favor. So Andrew looking really strong,
Yeah.
and he's going to take this.
Yeah, I think Andrew's gonna win this.
He does 27-1 to 28-3 for Williamson. So yeah, Williamson just went out a little too strong on those first couple rounds, and an MA being a skins veteran from ISL conserves some energy, and ultimately gets the W. Scoring update now: 215 to 200 in favor of the US. No
Except
idea
I
if
have
that's correct.
I have no idea where that's from. Definitely not from this race. So I think the US got 1, Williams, Australia 2. So the US went 1, 3, and 4 in this. So they get 7 points, and then the Aussies get 3. And Michael Andrew is now the top scorer by a significant margin.
Well, hold on. So the US had 7 plus Michael Andrews 12. So they actually got 19 points.
Oh yeah, right.
From that. While the US, Australia was only scored 7. Is that right? 5, 2, 1, 8 points. So 8 to 19. So
yeah.
the
I
US
forgot about the
outscored them
double
by
points.
11. Yeah. And so, I don't know if this 215 to 200 is correct, but it would seem like the US has a big advantage now, as we were in the lead heading into this race, and now just outscored Australia by 11 points, as that's the first stumble of a power up we've seen in this meet. It's kind of seemed like a risky one for Australia.
Yeah,
especially
I feel like especially with someone like Michael Andrew, who's really good at like consistently like doing well in 50s back to back.
I understand having faith in your athletes if you're Team Australia, but that, again, observing the rounds, it was kind of obvious that Williamson had gone all out on those first couple rounds, and holding the form might have been hard. But all right, our next event is the women's
100
traditional butterfly. So we've got Gabby Aviero for the US, Brianna Throssell for Australia, Beta Nelson for the US, and then McKeon for Australia. So this is going to be quite a race. Gabby Albiero was just in those 50 free skins, so she's getting in a lot of racing here. And we've only got 4 athletes total in this one.
Interesting.
So everyone's going to score no matter what. All right. Oh, you know what? So it was 196, the US, after the women's 50 free skins, and then 215, which US scored 19, so that's correct. And then, yeah, Aussies scored 8. They were 192. Now they're 200. So that seems accurate. All right, so Australia has used their flag frenzy on this one. So Emma McKeon has to win this for Australia. Otherwise, they will have fumbled 2 of their 3 power-ups. And McKeon is looking strong. Albiero is giving her a little bit of trouble, but I think she's going to win this handily. So 57.05 for McKeon. So, Tim, you're making your point. Now Australia regrets not double dipping during the women's skins when they were guaranteed points versus the double dip on the men's skins when they were most likely not going to win. I agree, but I think the solution there is to not have double dipped during the men's 50 breast skins. I'd have to look ahead to see what else is coming up today, but I think they could have just picked better skins to double dip on versus the women's. Again, if they don't have a situation where it's going to be close or they could kind of trick someone into doing it, maybe they just use it on the women's. So I see your point, especially today with teams kind of learning the strategies for double dips. So scoring update now, 209 Australia, 220 for the US. So the US go 2-3 and still score 5 points in that one. Australia scores 11 9 with that double points for the winner, Emma McKeon. And then the 4th place, Brianna Throssell. So the U.S. still up by 11. We've got the women's 50 backstroke skins coming up next. So depending on who swims these skins. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say there's a women's 50 back skins, and then there's a multi-class skins, and then men's 50 fly. So there's gonna be a double dip used in any of those.
Yeah, going back to that point, I think the Australians might have benefited more from that 50 backstroke skins because you're going to have Kaylee McEwen swimming that, and I don't think the U.S. might get one in the top 2. I'm not sure who. I guess Australia is probably going to use Molly O'Callaghan as well, so they might be top 2 again. But I probably would have waited for that event just because you're stronger. But who knows? Maybe Australia was they took a risk for sure. They saw Williamson was on form. They're like, all right, maybe we can bluff Michael Andrew into trying an extra 50, and then he, Williamson can take him on that round 4. But obviously, the opposite ended up happening, where maybe the Australian coaches as the one commenter is saying, got bluffed into double dipping because they thought the US might.
Yeah, before that last round, I saw a long period of just like both swimmers talking to their coaches, so I wasn't sure which country was gonna double dip.
Yeah, a lot of coach talk there. All right.
I think for this 50 back skins, the Aussies are going to use Kaylee McEwen and Molly O'Callahan, and I'm thinking about who they would use for the US. Maybe Amy Fulmer, because
that would be my guess. Linnea Mack is also another option.
Yeah,
I would have thought Vita Nelson.
Yeah, but I think Mac just swam in the 50 free skin, so I'm not sure if they would use her again. But yeah,
Albiera was also in the. Albiera was also in the 50 free skins, and she swam the 100 fly just now, and seemed to handle it all right.
Yeah.
So Vita Nelson is in the skins.
Yeah. And Molly O'Callahan.
Yeah. So as you suspected, Molly is out there. Maddie Wilson is that third for Australia.
I have more confidence in the Aussies going 1, 2, 3 in this than I did in the 50, unless they had like a misfire, like what happened with Meg Harris, the 50 free one.
I think I have more confidence. Had more confidence in the Aussie women going 1, 2, 3 in that 50 free. I think that they might be able to. The U.S. women have a better chance, in my mind, of getting one into the next round, at least, and breaking up that top three. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think McEwen and O'Callahan have a great chance of going 1, 2, for sure. So Vita Nelson coming right off that third place finish in the 100 fly to now going the 50 back skins. And she's not looking too bad.
Don't think there's anyone in a clear lead. Maddie Wilson is out.
She is. And so let's see who got eliminated there. 2 U.S. women were eliminated, Vita Nelson, and I think that's Linnea Mack. So 3 Australians move on, along with Amy Fulmer. I think Amy Fulmer might have won that. But regardless, Australia is still with a strong chance to go 1, 2, 3. Okay, the updated scores now are 223 to 209. So for some reason, the U.S. gained 3 points. It's now 223 to 209. Don't really know why that is, but they're now on the blocks for 50 back number 2. Tim Chang says if I'm Fulmer, I'm completely cruised this one. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a good idea.
She definitely lost the start, but
It's the
she does
Aussies
not look
cruise.
like she's cruising. But it's
I think
clear that McEwen and O'Callaghan are going to go 1-2 in this. Amy Fulmer does get 4th, but did not look like she cruised that. So
I think the Aussies were trying to conserve in the first round.
Yeah, I think the Aussies played that one smart, and they also knew that was a strength. But it looks like McEwen and O'Callaghan are going to cruise to the victory in this one. All right. So McEwen and O'Callaghan on the third 50. And they are cruising to an Australia 1-2 finish. So now the score is updated to 226 to 224. US is in the lead by 2 points. So Australia did score 15 points in that event to the US's 6. So they would have been up, had a 10-point advantage, but I'm still not totally clear on the scoring and how that works. If we're assuming it goes from 209 to 220, that makes sense. So I guess we're going from that. There was just a score thrown out there before that was odd. But so Australia had 209. Now they have 224. So they go up 15. US was at 220 after the women's 100 fly. They go up to 226. And now we have the men's 4x100 freestyle relay. All right, so now it's a close swim meet. But again, as a reminder, the US still has 2 power-ups that they can use. So I still think they have quite the advantage, even though it is only a 2-point meet at this point. And I'm guessing that the US men might use one of their power-ups in this next relay, the men's 4x100 freestyle. One of the few traditional events of the session. So Team USA looks like Ryan Held, Shane Casas, Luke Hobson, and perhaps Grant House. And for Team Australia, we've got Zach Inserti, Matt Temple, Cody Simpson, and Sean Champion. That is Grant House on the end for the US. So, it says Grayson Bell. I don't think Grayson Bell's on Australia's team, though. I think that was Zach Inserti who came out first. So, if I was the US, I would play my relay power up, which is the power play. I would use the power play on this one, and they are. So power play is active for Team USA. So pressure's on for the US to win this, but on paper at least, I think this should be a pretty easy one for the US. Like already off the start, Ryan Held has a half body length lead over Zach Inserti. And I think Inserti might be able to catch him a little bit, but hopefully Ryan Held gets on the other side of the lane so that there's no drafting. And he's able to use that turn 23-4 out for Held. And he does get on the other side of that lane. Oh, but Inserti, God, Held is now on the lane line. Inserti able to take advantage and racing. So it's going to be Inserti, actually, who gets first. So let's see what the split is. 48-7, Inserti, 48-8 for Held. And now we've got Casas in the water for the US and Matt Temple in the water for Australia. So Casas flips first, 111.8 to 112.1 for Temple. So let's see if Temple can mirror Inserti's effort and kind of make up for a good second 50. So Temple is fighting here. It's going to be pretty even at that third leg, but Casas gets a 0.3 lead for the US. So now it's Luke Hobson versus Cody Simpson. So I'm guessing we might see Cody Simpson out a little faster than Hobson. Remember, Hobson won that 200 free earlier in the session. I'm guessing Hobson's second 50 might blow Cody away a little bit. He doesn't quite have the base that this rising Texas sophomore does in Hobson. So Hobson is now starting to pull away a little bit from Simpson. So Cody's actually doing a pretty good job at keeping the Aussies in it, but Hobson does have a clear lead. And then House is going to jump in for the US. It would take a Lee-Zackian effort. And Champion is doing the smart thing by hugging the lane line and trying to ride that wave from Grant House. Grant House is smart. He's going to be on the other side of that lane. I mean, it would take a lot, but he's definitely within striking distance. It's about 0.7 away. So Champion's trying to be a champion here and run down the US. But House knows the stakes he's going to be able to hold on. This isn't quite a Lizak moment from Beijing. So Grant House is able to take the win. Immediately knows it. Immediately with that celebration. 3:14.1 for the U.S. I mean, that's a legit time. There are a lot of countries that can't go that fast. So score updated immediately, 242 to 230. So yeah, once again, the U.S. has a double-digit lead over Australia. And so once again, oh, that's right. So yeah, once again, U.S. earns 16 points and Australia earns 6. So Australia going from 224 to 230 and U.S. going from 226 to 242. So the U.S. still have 2 more power-ups. That was just their first one they've used of the day, while Australia doesn't have any left. That definitely favors the U.S., especially with after one, they've got a 12-point lead. So, I mean, yesterday we saw that each team used their power-up pretty successfully, and it was a close meet. But with U.S. winning that last relay, we finished the day. I guess the final thing was 13 points ahead of Australia. And now with Australia, all of Australia's power-ups used up, them fumbling the one on the skins, the men's 50 breast. Grant House very fired up after that last relay went. I think this is the U.S.'s meet to lose at this point, given that they've got 2 more power-ups to use, and the meet has been pretty even scoring-wise. So next up, another strong event for the U.S. men. It's the 100 backstroke. Again, another traditional event. 2, 4, 6, 8. We've still got 10 events left. So much swimming left to do today. It's crazy how much they fit in here. So Siwon Lee out first for Australia. And Justin Ress out for the U.S. men. Again, he's going to be a favorite here. I wonder if they're going to throw Shane Casas in here, right? Coming right off of that relay. Brad Woodward for Australia comes out next. Michael Andrew is another option for the men. Doesn't seem like he has an event for a little bit. They will use Shane coming right off of that relay. Kind of a bold strategy to me. Ty Hartwell for Australia. And that's it. So the U.S. are putting their faith in Justin Ress and Shane Casas, who's coming right off of that 400 free relay. Interesting that they used Shane for the 4 free relay and not Justin Ress. I guess Justin Ress, swam the 400 free relay at the World Champs. I'm not knocking them for this decision. Shane is a great relay leg, a great relay choice, but so is Justin. So just a little curious as why they used one, not the other, why they didn't use. I think using both would have been bad. So maybe it was literally just, we want one of you fresh for the 100 back so that we win it, and then the other can pull a dirty double and see what you can do. I mean, Shane can pretty much perform anytime, so we'll see how he does, but I think Justin Ress is a clear favorite on paper to win this, and we see him going out fast. Second performer all time in the men's 50 backstroke, and we know he's got a good 100 and that he can race anytime. So kind of as expected, Justin Ress going out first strong, and then Shane is actually flipping 5th. he looks fairly gassed, but Justin looks very in control of this race. Once again, in these traditional events, you can only score 2 athletes per country. So even though Australia is going to go 2, 3, 4, Shane will actually pick up that 4th place scoring. So Justin Rest wins it 53-1, which is a really, really solid time. And the US will go 1-4 scoring wise, and they actually use their second power up in the flag frenzy for that one, and so they will go 8-1 in the scoring, so 9 points versus Australia's 5. So the US extend their lead 250 to 236. So 2 power ups down, they still have their double dip in the skins for the relay, or for US. So yeah, once again, Australia earning. You know what? Australia earns 6 points in that. So I was wrong. I'm sorry. You can score 2, 3, 4. So Australia does pick up that 4th place 1 point. Oh, do they? I guess. Okay. On screen, it is showing that they do not. Oh, and that's been reflected in the score now. So 235 for Australia, they score 5 points. 251 for the US, they score 9 points. Again, 8 from Justin Ress with that the frenzy one. Sorry, I forget these names. The flag frenzy. And then 1 point for Shane Casas, who again placed 5th, but will pick up that 4th place scoring because only 2 athletes per country can score in a traditional event. All right, they're doing a replay of this right now. I'm taking a bathroom break. I will be right back, everyone. And we're back. All right, next event up is the mixed class freestyle skins. So we've got our competitors walking out now. I'm guessing, so I see Jamal Hill of the US, Mackenzie Cohen of the US. I'm guessing this is going to be all 8 para athletes. Ellie Cole coming out for Australia now. So what we saw yesterday was that they had staggered starts, and a lot of that was for the mixed stroke skins, which was honestly pretty great. And even though it didn't look to be fair at first, by the second and third 50s, they actually nailed it pretty well in terms of athletes finishing really close together on the final 5 meters. So Ash McConnell for Australia, Lizzie Smith for US coming out now. So it will be Noah Jaffe of the US. So it will be all 8 athletes, para athletes, swimming this freestyle skins, and then Matt Levy for Australia. So we'll see. I'm really interested to see if they have the staggered starts again. especially, yeah, by class. So we'll see how this goes. So because it starts with 8 athletes and there's only 3 rounds, yesterday it went from 8 to 5 to 3. So 3 athletes, if it goes the same format as yesterday, 3 athletes will get eliminated in this first round, and then 2 before the final round. So it is staggered starts. So Mackenzie Cohen is out first, and then another 4 athletes, and then the last 3 athletes hop in. So we'll see. Mackenzie Cohen looks freaking dominant, as does Jamal Hill. But now they're really starting to catch her. But it will be Cohen and Hill at 1-2, and Martin of Australia at 3. So only 3 athletes eliminated. Ashley McConnell, Noah Jaffe, and Ellie Cole are eliminated. So it appears that these are on 3 minutes. Yesterday, there wasn't really a set interval for the mixed class skins. So it looks like today is a little more of one. So just under a minute left before this round 2 of mixed class skins. I'm just getting my morning stretches in. All right, so we're just about to get underway with this second round of 5. Interesting, they're keeping similar lanes, although they're condensing them into lanes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, excuse me. So everyone's got their different starts. I think it'll be similar, staggered. So Cohen's off first, and then Smith and Cole, and final Hill and Martin. All right, so Cohen once again has a big lead, but the guys, Martin and Hill, are definitely starting to eat those up. Smith and Cole might be the ones out. Oh no, it's going to be Lizzie Smith, Cohen, and Martin, I think. So yeah, Jamal Hill's out, as well as Levy. So we've got 2 Americans and 1 Australian in this final. And we've got just under a minute to go before this last round. Mackenzie Cohen getting a little rinse down from her water bottle. So she's got a good chance to win it here. Again, with that staggered start, she gets a pretty good lead. And then Lizzie Smith of the US and Martin of Australia, the other 2. Lizzie Smith lives in the same city as I do, Austin, Texas. She was training at the Western Hills Athletic Club. We coached there together, and now she's actually training at Nitro over with my bud Patrick, who was the volunteer assistant at Texas for the last 2 seasons for the Texas men. He's now coaching at Nitro, and that's where Lizzie Smith is training. So we'll see if that training is paid off in a big way here, if Lizzie can get the win in this mixed class 50 free skins. So Cohen's off, Lizzie's going to go next, and then Martin will be last. So I find it interesting that they do relay starts. A lot of them do, at least. So the race is on. Smith chasing Cohen and Martin chasing both of them. It looks like Martin's going to get it, and he will. Martin gets there, Smith in second, and Cohen in third. Martin's pumped. Gets the hometown victory. So that's the second victory for Team Australia in pair events. So he's had a great hometown meet here, or home country meet here, rather. I don't actually know where he's from in Australia. So updated scores, 256 for the US, 240 for Australia. So Australia does win that event. The US go 2-3. So overall, not a huge swing for Australia. So 5 points for the winner, and then 3 and 2 for Lizzie and Mackenzie. So actually, it's a wash in terms of scoring swings. Each country scores 5 points from that one. Can't say I love that, especially because the other skins are 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't really understand why they would make that one just 5, 3, 2. If anyone has any input on that one, please feel free to let me know, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But 256, 240 for Australia, 256 for the US. And next up, we have the traditional women's 100 freestyle, women's 100 freestyle, which again should be a good one for the Aussies. They should be able to pretty easily pick up a 1-2 finish there and get a little bit of a points advantage. Again, if they can go 1-2, that's 7 points to a 3-4 finish for the US, which would be 3 points. So the screen is saying that we have a mixed pair of skins, which we just had. So I think that is slightly inaccurate. We're getting crowd shots now. Maddie Wilson in her third swim of the day after swimming the 50 back skins and the 50 free skins. Is that right? But 100 free, I mean, she's a stalwart for Team Australia. Molly O'Callahan, Mallory Comerford for the US. So once again, only 4 competitors here. Amy Fulmer is the US's other. So Australia leaving it to Malio and Maddie W to pick up this 1-2 finish, which I think they will do handily. I think Amy and Mallory both have swims under their belts for today. It's no one's first swim actually in this race, but I think Maddie and Molly are just on paper at much better places in their career right now. But we will see how this goes. Molly O, 0.57 reaction time. That is quick. So it's Maddie Wilson and Mallory Comerford who are actually going out pretty fast, but we all know that Molly is known for her coming home speed. So Maddie Wilson's going to flip first, but that's Amy Fulmer is right behind her at 26.6 to 26.5. And now I think the Australians' pedigree is really going to come into play. So O'Callahan using that patented second 50, and Wilson is maintaining her lead over Fulmer. So as we expected, the Aussies will go 1-2. 54.01 for Molly O'Callahan, 54.1 for Maddie Wilson, and 55.1 for Amy Fulmer. So 247 for the Australians, 259 for the US. So they do get that 7-point swing to the US's 3 points. Scoring has the math down now. They know what they're doing. Remind me why Dressel isn't here. Because he opted not to be, as did many US and Australian athletes. So Dressel, once again, is not here because he chose not to be. Pretty self-explanatory there. So once again, Australia is 1-2 in the women's traditional 100 freestyle, but total still 11 points behind the US. Next up is the men's broken 400 freestyle. So next up, we have the men's broken 400 freestyle. This was a pretty entertaining event to watch. The women's yesterday, We've seen the men's broken 800 yesterday. And it'll be interesting to see how the strategies come into play, especially after we saw the women's broken 4 yesterday. So the men's broken 800 free yesterday saw Matt Horton swim a conservative 300, and then he actually won the next 3 efforts in the 200, the 200, and the 100, won the overall event. With the broken 400, it's just a 200 and then 2 100s. So obviously much more of a sprint. And so we'll see who conserves a little on that 200, who really goes for it, and then ultimately who's able to bring it home. The women's iteration yesterday saw Bella Sims take it out strong and be able to hold that lead. She was 158 on the 200 and then held it on the last 2 100s. Matt Horton coming out for Australia. So he was yesterday's champion in the broken 8. Luke Hobson in his 3rd swim of the day. He's had a great day, 145.5 to win the individual 200, and then was a great 3rd leg on the men's 400 free relay that won. Kyle Lee coming back out for Australia. We got a comment, MOC negative splitted that 100. I don't know if we ever get splits, so I'm not sure I can officially confirm that, but I'll take your word for it. David Johnston coming out for the U.S. We've got 2 Longhorns in this. And then Brendan Smith, the IM specialist, coming out in this broken 400 free for Australia. Grant House. Oh, I guess that's 6 athletes. That's yeah, sorry. I thought the U.S. had one more, but so we've got Luke Hobson, David Johnston, and Grant House. Grant House coming off of the 50 free skins and the 400 free relay, so he had much more of a sprinty event, but now he's going to step up for this mid-distancy, although it is just a 200 and then 2 100s. So we'll see if speed or endurance or a combination of both is the key for this one here. We start out with a 200 freestyle. All right, so Matt Horton looks to be out strong, as does David Johnston and Luke Hobson. Those 3 are going to flip first at this first 50. So David Johnston wins the 50, the moral victory, 26.04. 26.4 and 26.6 for Horton and Hobson, respectively. So David Johnston is really putting it out there, as he did yesterday. He was out in that first 300, but wasn't able to quite maintain. So it'll be interesting to see how the strategy works for him today. Ten Chang, is the scoring the same for each broken swim? Yes. So you get 1 point for winning each effort. So the winner of each effort, the 200, the 100, the 100, gets 1 point. And then it's scored as a normal individual event. So 4 points to the winner of the total event, and then 3, 2, 1. So if you win every effort, that would obviously mean you win the total event. That would be a total of 7 points. So if you win one effort, but then you win the total event, you get 5 points. So you get the idea. David Johnston has quite a lead over the field. Luke Hobson, Matt Horton, and Brendan Smith are all kind of fighting for that second place spot. I think Brendan Smith is actually going to end up getting second. So Johnston wins the first effort, 150.7. Second is Brendan Smith at 151.3. Australian head coach Rowan Taylor giving some great insight. When asked what the strategy is for this, he said, hopefully the boys can win the last two legs and pick up a 1-2 finish. He says the boys look pretty controlled on that 200. He also says that Mac Horton was really keen on the broken swims. He said he loved the idea of that because that's how he trains. And I'm guessing a lot of these guys have at least done sets that are similar to these broken swims. So they're on the blocks for this first 100, the second effort of this broken 400. So we'll see what the 100 did to all these competitors. Luke Hobson is going out on this 100, as is Mac Horton. Brendan Smith looks really strong too. The commentator asking how is Hobson still moving. He's had a huge night tonight, which he has 145.5 in the 2 free. Huge leg on that 400 free relay, but he is dominating this 100 freestyle. He's out in 24.6. So Johnston is back and forth. He's kind of riding Brendan Smith's wave. Mac Horton trying to chase Hobson, but Hobson has just put himself way too far out there. He looks like he's going to go 50 point in this, which he will touch at 51.2. 51.2, Horton 52.2, Smith 53.0, Johnston 54.0. Sorry, 53.8 for Smith, 53.8. So Luke Hobson really put himself out there that second effort, the third 100 of this broken 400. They've got 35 seconds left. So we will see just what everyone's got left. Coach Michael Bull talking to Mac Horton. I wonder what he's saying to him. Go fast, buddy. Good luck out there. You got it. All right. As the commentator says, on paper, this is the 2 H's. Hobson in 3, Horton in 2. So Mac v. David. Who's it going to be? Sorry, Mac v. Luke Hobson. So what do we see? Grant House is stepping up on this last 100. Mac Horton putting in a good effort. Wow, Grant House is really going for it on this last 100. He flips at 24.7, so we know he's got speed. But let's see how well he can bring it home and how well that matters for his overall score. Mac Horton might be able to see him on the other side of the pool, but I think this is all house. But yeah, Luke Hobson not able to carry that momentum from the last 100. 51.2 for house. Johnston actually in 3rd and Hobson in 4th. So the U.S. goes 1-3-4 on that final effort. So really interested to see who will win this overall. My guess would be Mac Horton, but not really too sure. So a lot of swimming for a lot of these athletes. Luke's had a big schedule. Grant House has had a big schedule. I'm guessing Brendan Smith will be in that mixed IM. Oh, no. Sorry. It's the women's mixed IM later in the session. So this might be his only event of the session. We have some weird relay that I have no idea what it is going to look like. And we may not get the total scoring for this until much later. So stay tuned for that one, folks. Next event is the men's 50 freestyle. It should be a good one for the U.S. I'm guessing Michael Andrew, David Curtis, and Ryan Held, which honestly could go 1, 2, 3. Ooh, but I was wrong. Justin Ress is the first out for the U.S., who grade 50 freestyler in his own right. Grayson Bell for Australia, one of their top sprinters at this meet. The men's 50 fly skins is coming up right after this, and then the women's 100 breast. So U.S. might be saving Michael Andrew for that one. David Curtis comes out next for the U.S. So this might be a triple NC State event for the U.S. men. David Curtis, currently at NC State, and Justin Ress and Ryan Held, both alums. Tom Nowakowski, who had a great day yesterday in the men's 50 skins, comes out for Australia, and it is Ryan Held in that third spot. So big day for the Wolfpack. Big sprint energy from Raleigh down here in Sydney. So still no scoring update from that from that broken men's 400 freestyle, which I'm guessing will come after this event or the next event. Men's 50 free on the blocks. Ryan Held out on the top. He's in lane 6 or 7, I think, but he looks really good. David Curtis also looks good, and I think there's a good chance that this could be a US 1, 2, 3. It will be 1, 2, Curtis, then Held, but Nowakowski gets in there for third, and then a distant fourth was Justin Ress. And again, that actually doesn't matter with the points because only 2 athletes per country can score. So Curtis, 21.84. That is really solid for him. That has to be close to his best time, if not a best time. But US go 1, 2. So that's 7 points for the US and just 3 points for Australia. So 274 to 254 is the new scoring update. That's a 20-point lead for the US. So yeah, once again, 7 points for the US after that men's 50 freestyle. So I would put them at 266. I would put the US at 266. And they're at 274, so that means they scored 8 points out of that mixed freestyle. Sorry, I keep saying that wrong. The broken men's 400 freestyle. And Australia only scored 4 points. So I guess I don't know how that works. That is not very many points for Australia to score. That means they would have gotten. Oh, we have another update: 255, 273. That makes a little more sense. I mean, because Australia would have had to score a few more points in the broken men's 400 freestyle than that. So 255, 273 for the U.S., meaning U.S. scored 6 points in that broken 400 free, and Australia also scored 6 points. We'll see the scoring breakdown of that in a minute, but yeah, as we saw, Johnston won the first effort, Hobson won the second effort, and House won the third effort. So that's 3 points for the U.S. But that math still doesn't really add up to me then. Seemingly Horton won the overall individual event. That would be 4 points. But I would think an American won, got second. That would be 3 points, which would be 6 total. If Australia got 2 for getting third, which I don't think they did. Anyway, women's 100 breast is up now. Chelsea Hodges, and for Australia, Caitlin Dobler, Mac Luz, and for the U.S., and Jenna Strauss is also up for Australia. So it should be a really great race. Jenna Strauss seems to have the 100, the second 50 down, while Chelsea Hodges has a really great first 50. I think Annie Laser, who is also up for the U.S., known for that second 50. And Caitlin Dobler has good speed, but kind of all around has good 100 speed. I think Mac Luz is more of an IM 200 breast oriented swimmer, and so expect her to have a good strong 50. So overall, I'm looking at Caitlin Dobler. I'm looking at the 2 Aussies in the middle, and Hodges and Strauss, to battle it out for supremacy in this one. .54 for Caitlin Dobler reaction time. That's amazing. That's like almost a false start, people. That's you don't really see that. I'm amazed by that. All right. Anyway, so Chelsea Hodges, as we expected, out quite fast. 31-1. 31-6 for Jenna Strauss, but Dobler is right there with Hodges. So again, I think we'll see Dobler move up on Hodges and Strauss move up on both of them. So with 25 meters to go, Hodges still in the lead. It's probably that last name that's doing it for her. Dobler is making a push. I don't think Strauss is going to be in it for the win, but Hodges is going to lead from start to finish here. 106.9 for Chelsea Hodges. That's a great swim. 7-4 for Dobler. But she gets the hometown win. That's 4 points for Chelsea Hodges. 3 points for Dobler. Strauss was third. So that's 6 points for Australia and 4 points for the U.S. So Australia making a little bit of leeway on that 18-point lead. So 277 U.S., 261 for Australia. So U.S. ahead by 16 points now. So now we move on to the men's 50 fly skins. We've got 4 events left on the day. So So an A laser was in there for fourth for the US. So she scored 1 point there. So 261 to 277, we got that scoring update. Michael Andrew is the top scoring swimmer with 22 points. Emma McKeon is second with 20, and Caitlin Doppler is now third, tied with Maddie Wilson for third at 15 points each. Good for them. So Michael Andrew still with another scoring opportunity coming up in this men's 50 fly skins. Chelsea Hodges surprised herself. It's faster than what she went in Commonwealth Games, as she says in the post-race interview now, which 106.9, that's a great swim. And it seems like it was a more controlled swim for her. She went out fast, certainly, but she was able to reel in that second 50 and maintain her lead for the win. So once again, 4 events to go. The men's 50 fly skins, the multi-class 100 meter form stroke. So I'm guessing we'll see a few different strokes in that one. The women's 200 IM mystery. And then we are finishing up with the 2x200 meter versus 4x100 meter freestyle random relay, 2 men and 2 females. I have no idea what that means. Maybe like 2 men swimming 200 freestyles versus 4 women swimming 100 freestyles, which, like, let's say the 2 men average 146.0. What is that, like 53s? So I guess that's kind of even. Yeah, okay. I can get behind that. If they average 145.0s, that's 52 fives. Okay. Yeah, I'm down with that. So again, I don't really know what that is, though, because it says 2 males, 2 females. So I'm totally in the dark there. I don't know what that really is going to look like. All right, 50 fly skins. We got Matt Temple for Australia. We do have Michael Andrew, as expected, for the US, which he's already had a big day. He stole Australia's double dip in the 50 breast skins. Sean Champion out once again for Australia. And I think this is the US's last opportunity to use their double dip, so we can expect that. Shane Casas is also in this. He swam freestyle, he swam backstroke, and now he will be swimming butterfly for the US today. And we have Trenton Julian as well for the US. So they look pretty good. The Australians do have Matt Temple, who's a great butterflyer. So US obviously hoping to get 2 in the top 2, and therefore they can kind of just double dip freely, as our commenter Tim Chang was suggesting Australia do earlier in the meet, which would have been a safer bet. Gotta hand it to you, Tim. So we'll see after this first round what the field looks like. Michael Andrew out way ahead off the start. And everyone else kind of bunched up behind him. Trenton Julian actually looks pretty strong, as does Shane Casas. The US might go 1, 2, 3, but Shane and Michael are going to go 1, 2. And then it's Temple. Or no. Then it's Champion. And then it's Julian. So I think Temple's actually out. So Temple is out along with Lee for Australia. So the U.S. has 3 in the top 4 with Champion, the only one who made it in between Casas and Andrew. So once again, we will see if the U.S. has to gamble their double dip on a 1v1 Australia versus U.S., or if they get to cruise to a third and fourth 50 by getting 2 Americans into that top 2. I think they have a pretty good chance with Shane and Michael to get these top 2 spots. But if Champion can, if I'm Tim Chang, if I'm USA, I'm telling everyone to go all out the second 50. I mean, you kind of have to. Like, if, yeah, getting top 2 would be big here, because then you can just cruise these last 2 50s. You want to beat Champion for those top spots and for the points, period. But we'll see what Champion's got. If I'm the I agree with you, Tim. If I'm the U.S., I'm telling everyone to go all out on this one. And if I'm Australia, I'm telling Champion, you better make that final, buddy. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, so this is looking like a max effort from everyone here. So Andrew is out fast on the start, as we saw before. Champion actually looks pretty good. Trenton, Julian moving up, though. Oh, and Champion's definitely not going to make it. It will be Casas and Michael Andrew. Trenton gets third, Champion fourth. So that's another 1, 2, 3 sweep for the U.S. men in the skins events. And now we've got 2 50s ahead of us that are just gravy trains. So we've got a minute left before 50 number 3. So 264 to 277 is the current scoring update. U.S. ahead by 13. I'm not positive about the math on that one. I guess that might be a live update of the 1 and 2 points that 5th and 6th place earned for Australia. That's my guess, I guess. So Michael and Shane having a good laugh behind the blocks. We know that they are going to dog this 50 fly. And we know that they've got another 50 fly ahead of them, because the U.S. hasn't used their double dip yet, and this is their last chance to. So off to the start, and yeah, they've actually giving a surprising amount of effort here. So they're just going at it. This is actually a solid race. They're not going to be crazy times, but 24-7 for Shane and 24-9 for Michael. So they actually went for it. And it doesn't appear that the US is going to use their double dip here, which is a bold strategy. It's not like they need to. Current score updates, 292 for the US, 267 for Australia. Okay, so yeah, no double dip here, but the US do go 1, 2, 3, so that's 15 points for them. And 3, 2, 1, 6 points for the Australia. I perhaps you're not allowed to use a double dip if you go 1, 2 in the skins events. I'm not too sure. That rule wasn't necessarily explained super well, but I'm guessing that's Michael and Shane's last event of the meet, and so they went all out for that last 50 just because. And Shane confirms in his post-race interview that it was both of their last race in Australia. So, in his words, they just took the gloves off and went at it, which is great to see as a fan. They love racing, and they both got a little bit out of it. Wow. U.S. ahead by 25 points in a meet that doesn't have a ton of big swings, but when you go 1, 2, 3 in 3 different skins events, as the U.S. men have, it's pretty noticeable. And so 15 points to 6 points is makes a big difference over the course of 3 different events. So yeah, Australia again only earned 6 points from that, while US gets a whopping 15. So next up, we've got the multi-class 100-meter form stroke. So again, all 8 para athletes doing their specialty stroke of 100. I'm guessing we'll have staggered starts again. And so it's going to be pretty exciting, especially over 100 meters. We've seen them stagger for 50 meters in this format, but we have not seen them swim 100 meters yet, especially with that staggered starts. And so I'm guessing it'll look like a cakewalk for some swimmers and not for swimmers, but then when we get down to these last 10 or 5 meters, I'm guessing it'll get a lot closer. So this will be really fun to watch. The other ones have been. I've really been surprised at how close they've been able to make the finishes of some of these 50-meter races for these athletes who start 5 or 10 seconds apart from each other. So pretty interesting. We'll see a lot of different strokes here, starting at all different times. So this will be a really fun one to watch. So Matt Levy of Australia will go first since he's swimming breaststroke. Mackenzie Cohen is next, doing freestyle. Ellie Cole is up doing backstroke. Lizzie Smith dives in. Pretty sure she'll be doing butterfly. McConnell freestyle. Jaffe doing butterfly. And then Hill and Martin, I can't even see on the screen at this point. So Levy, huge lead right now with breaststroke. So Martin is doing butterfly, Jamal Hill's doing freestyle. So we see Cohen right now definitely gaining ground on Levy, who's doing breaststroke. And now we'll really start to see kind of everyone closing in on everyone else. Wow, so Cohen definitely catching Levy for breaststroke. Martin catching both of them on the butterfly. And I think Martin's going to be safe for this win in the 100 fly. So he's going to be a triple winner in this home country. Mackenzie Cohen second, Lizzie Smith in third. She's had a great meet. And Jamal Hill gets in there for fourth. So Martin gets in there for the win. Again, his third win of the meet. While Mackenzie Cohen second, Lizzie Smith third, and Jamal Hill fourth. So the US goes 234, 298 to 271. So while Australia won that event, the US actually outscores Australia on that one again with the 234 depth. So a 27-point lead for the US currently. So Will Martin swimming butterfly. So once again, it's showing that the US scores 3-2-1, and which would be 6 points to Australia's 4. I'm confused if the rule of you can only score 2 athletes per country in an individual event applies to the para. The scoring is currently reflecting that it doesn't. So with those mixed class events, you can see athletes as score, I guess. So the 3-2-1 that the U.S. earned will apply, as opposed to other events where even if there was a 3-2-1 or a 2-3-4 finish, that fourth place point would go to the other country. All right, I'm taking another quick break before our final 2 events, the women's mystery 200 individual medley and the random 2x2 versus 4x1 freestyle mixed relay. I don't know what the heck that's going to be, but you're going to want to stay tuned for that one. All right, we are back. Do I think Chase Kalish and Will Martin look alike? Not really. Maybe a little, but um, I, I kind of see it, but not so much. Not so much for my part. But hey, that's if you think that, that's cool. Oh wow. I think I just said one of the Australian Paralympians. This was her final race here. I think that was Ellie Cole, who is a big star for Australian paraswimming. I wonder if this is Levy's last swim as well. What a cool way to retire, if that's the case. After Duel in the pool, what are some of the next biggest meets coming up? Asks Tim Chang. Great question, Tim. Later this week, we have the Junior Pan Pacific Championships starting in Hawaii. Those will be from June 24th to 27th. And then I believe August 31st to September 4th, something like that. The World Junior Championships will be in Lima, Peru, which will feature none other than our very own Chlorine Daddy, aka David Popovich. So we've got a lot of fast swimming still yet to come in the next 2 weeks. Again, those were both junior meets, junior Pan Pacs, and then junior World Championships. But those will still be a lot of fast swimming. Again, anytime David Popovich gets in the pool, could be a world record. Who knows? But after that, we've got World Cups coming up this fall. There's a stop in Berlin in mid-October. There's a stop in Toronto in a week or so after that, and then a stop in Indianapolis a week or so after that. So it's a short circuit this year. Usually there's 7 to 9 meets, and this year it's only 3 meets. There's only one leg of the circuit, but again, that'll be Berlin, Toronto, and Indianapolis, and starting in mid-October to early November. And then after that, we've got the U.S. Open in Greensboro, I believe, in mid to late November, and that'll also be around the time that NCAA mid-season meets will be occurring. And then we finish off the year with Short Course World Championships back here in Australia, in Melbourne, I believe. And that'll be right before Christmas, so mid-December for the Short Course World Champs. So now we've got the mystery IM swimmers marching out. Michaela Smith for Australia, Lita Nelson for the U.S., Justina Kozan for the U.S., which at this point the U.S. can kind of cruise. I think they could not score in in the next 2 events and still walk away pretty dominant. Kayla McEwen coming out for her final race. Mackenzie Luce coming out. So this should be a fun one. The men's event was certainly fun to watch yesterday. And now it's the big reveal of what your order will be. So everyone's order is different. Only one person has breaststroke last, and that is Kaylee McEwen. McEwen's got free fly back breast, which was the same order I believe that Shane Casas had yesterday, and he got last. But also, there's a balloon in the pool. Also, Shane was coming off of a double, I believe, yesterday, and so that might have been part of it. But I think that stroke order is really not conducive for winning at 200 meters free fly back breast, which is what Kayla McEwen is getting stuck with now. So wouldn't expect to see her on top at the end, but with her talent and her conditioning, who knows, maybe she'll be able to pull this off and maintain that lead until the end. RIP lane 4, fly last, says Tim Chang. I don't know, man. Trenton Julian had fly last yesterday and he won. So it could be an advantage, especially depending on that person and who, what their specialties are, I guess. So we'll see how it goes. McEwen starting with freestyle, as is Mac Lewis. So interestingly enough, Beta Nelson, who's starting with butterfly, is going to be first to the wall, right with Kayla McEwen. So McEwen really conservative on that freestyle leg, obviously, as you don't really know what to expect on that back half. So now McEwen taking a big lead as she is doing butterfly, and the rest of the field's doing breaststroke, which kind of interesting. I don't think we saw that yesterday, but all 4 other swimmers are doing breaststroke while McEwen is doing butterfly. So she's really turning it on at this point. She's got backstroke and then breaststroke left, but got a huge lead at this point. So Mac loses in second out in lane 7. She's doing butterfly right now. Beta Nelson has got backstroke and she's in third place. So McEwen, who has backstroke, still has a huge lead, but again, she is finishing with breaststroke. So Mac Lewis is a pretty distant second. Beta Nelson is in third. So Kayla McEwen trying to hold on. Mac Lewis finishing with backstroke, which may be hard to catch McEwen. Nelson finishing with freestyle. So she might be the one who can catch McEwen. But McEwen has built a huge lead over the field, and I think she's going to be able to hold on. But Beta is eating up ground. So under the last 5 meters, and McEwen will hold on for the win. So she gets a huge win, 2:12.7. Are you kidding me? 2:12.7? That's really fast, especially finishing with breaststroke. Yeesh. Good for her. I guess it might help in freestyle if she was out in 28. I don't know. 2:12 for a mystery IM. For any IM, that'd be really fast, but also for a wacky order. That's great. Way to go, Kayla McEwen. So once again, Australia with the win, but it is a wash as US goes 2-3. So that's 5-5. So 303 to 275. So the US still hanging on to that 28-point lead. Shelby is saying, looks like they tried to kill the awkward turns from yesterday and the orders weren't as shuffled. I'm always happy when people learn from their mistakes and, you know, try new things, but then takes what works, takes what doesn't work, and fixes those little errors. All right. So last event of the day after this women's mystery IM. I have no idea what to expect. What is a random relay deep dive according to the live stream? Okay, so one team is going to have 4 swimmers, and they're swimming hundreds. One team will have 2 swimmers, and they'll swimming 200s. The start is staggered based off of best times for each team of swimmers, and it's chosen right before the start of the relay. So this is going to be weird. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. So, wow. So yeah, so each country sends out 4 swimmers, but then 2 of them will get eliminated from one team, and we don't know yet. So U.S. has Trenton Julian, Ryan Held, Mallory Comerford, and I didn't see their 4th swimmer. And Australia has Maddie Wilson, Zach Inserti, Cody Simpson, and Molly O'Callahan. And Bella Sims is U.S.'s 4th swimmer. So I'm pretty sure the team with 4 swimmers swimming hundreds has a major advantage. Shelby says 50-100 would be more appropriate considering how dead everyone is. I agree that this might not be the... so we have a Wheel of Fortune. So Australia gets the 4x1, and U.S. will have the 4x2, and it will be Bella Sims and Trenton Julian swimming for the U.S. So Bella Sims, Trenton Julian, pumped. So Trenton is starting off for the U.S. Zach Inserti is leading off for Australia. This is going to be wild. I'm glad the stakes aren't really riding on this, because I don't think I would like if a meet came down to this relay. But since the U.S. are just blew out Australia, then I'm not so mad about it. Especially if Australia gets to finish with a win. All right, so Trenton Julian is in the pool now. Oh wow, Zach Inserti still hasn't gone. So he had a 19-second lead. Trenton Julian has a 19-second lead based on his best time versus Zach and Cody Simpson's best times. That's really interesting. So this first leg should be, not that intense. Zach Inserti doesn't look like he's going super fast. I might be wrong about that, but his turn looks kind of slow, but he looks like he's going relatively fast. So Zach Inserti is finishing his 100. 107.6 minus 19 seconds would be 48. So solid split for Zach Inserti. And then Cody Simpson coming. So I guess obviously it's staggered not only for the men, but for the whole relay as well. So men and women take it into account combined. The thing is, I think it's way easier to go your best time in 100 than it is at 200, but Bella almost went her best time, 147.8 for Trenton. Doesn't bode super well, but Bella almost won a best time in the tuner free yesterday. So Cody just touched 156.5. So the U.S. has a 9-second lead. So still kind of even, although Maddie Wilson and Molly O on the end doesn't bode super well for the U.S. But you know what? If anyone can go faster than their best time on the women's team, it is Bella Sims at this point. So I think she's got a chance. So Maddie Wilson is in the water now. She's trying to catch Bella, but Bella honestly looks like she's maintaining the lead fairly well, but I guess the second 100 will be much more telling. So Sims 244.3. So she goes out in 56. It's pretty solid. 6-second margin from Molly to Bella. So Maddie Wilson gained about 3 seconds. Oh, man. And the notorious MOC is in the water, and she's absolutely going to catch Bella Sims. Bella went out hard. You can see she's paying for it a little bit on this back half, or maybe she's saving up, but great turn by Bella. She's given it all she has. But Molly O, that second 50 that has become infamous now, she's going to take Bella. So Bella's giving it an exceedingly valiant effort, but Molly O'Callahan just too good. $344.2 for the Aussies, $345.3 for the U.S. So Bella ends up going 157, which is what she split yesterday. So total scores 309 for Team Australia, 309 for the U.S., 283 for Australia is your final meet scores. Ryan Held being a good sport. Oh my God, we have a great suggestion in these comments. The next Duel in the Pool should be in Texas and have the Eddie Reese invite events be used instead. Take note now, USA Swimming. Eddie Reese, Duel in the Pool, Eddie Reese invite edition, short course yards, 300s, 150s, and 50s of all strokes. That's what we want to see. All right, and that does it for day 3 and the 2022 Duel in the Pool overall. So thanks for joining us. If you stayed out there the whole time, the U.S. remain undefeated. Didn't even have to use one of their power-ups, but they went handily, 309 to 283. I think a lot of people thought that Australia was going to take this one. It was going to be a cakewalk for them. If you watched the Swim Swam breakdown last week, you know that I, myself, Ben Dornan, and David Classy all predicted the U.S. taking the W down under, and they did just that. So thanks from me, thanks from Swim Swam, and we will see you next